Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is James Duff Merritt, and I want to welcome you to the K-Sam Speaks podcast. Now, this is a podcast where topics involving law enforcement are discussed while offering real and transparent answers. Now, we are not trying to change the world, but just change one heart at a time. Here's your host, K-Sam.
Appreciate my boy Def for that intro, as always. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the K-Sam Speaks podcast. I'm your host, K-Sam. And boy, hey, what is heat out here in Texas? Man, it's disrespectful. And we just getting started. It's disrespectful already. I saw on Facebook, and it says it's so hot. We close to being on cremation. He said the temperature is cremation mode right now. But boy, it's spicy outside. Boy, like I like to say, boy, it's pep out there. But all in all, man, I hope all is well with everybody. Again, thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the K-Sam Speaks podcast. Make sure y'all go to the YouTube channel if y'all like watching this on YouTube or Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can also watch this. But make sure y'all go to the social media pages, man, Instagram, Facebook. Constantly posting content, some little short clips, some little snippets. So if you're curious to see what episode may be about, I always post some little short clips on all my social media platforms. So make sure you go and follow that. And then that way you get to see what I'm talking about before come and sit down and watch a full episode, which would also be an honor for you to take time out of your day and do. But, man, I have a story. It's still funny. I have a story that I'm here to tell y'all from a call that happened to me the other day. Well, kind of like a week ago or so. Which brings me to the title of this episode. Oh, my cane. Like walking cane, you know. So, man, check this out. I get a call at a Home Depot about a shoplifting. Dude was in there stealing some merchandise. The loss prevention workers knew him as a thief from Home Depots across the area. So when they recognized him in the store, they done their loss prevention thing and bam, caught him stealing. So when they stopped him, passing off points to sell with the merchandise, he just left the basket and just continued walking to his vehicle. Bam, he leaves. We stop him down the road in his vehicle, find some other stolen merchandise in the car. Anyway, take him to custody. Bam. Well, we had to bring him to the hospital because, man, Buddy was 6'3", 6'4", and probably all of like 370 pounds. Like a big fella. So the problem was we had to bring him to the hospital before I could bring him to jail, because out here we have a thing called getting somebody fit for confinement. Get them fit for confinement. So essentially what that looks like is we bring them to the emergency room. The ER staff does the basic medical things on them and, you know, make sure that they are fit to go to jail. Because, boy, our jail out here, man, them nurses don't be playing. Hey, them nurses send you back to the hospital for anything. So I was like, man, let's just bring Buddy to jail. And I'm about to tell y'all why. Just bring Buddy back to the hospital before bringing him to jail. So reason why we brought him to the hospital is because my dude, one of his legs was like double the size of the other. Like, it was just nasty. He gonna lose that leg soon if he ever stays for the medical treatment. But, man, he just had a bad situation with his leg. And I'm sure there's a bunch of medical problems that he has, and it was just nasty. It was purple and But anyway, so we brought him to the hospital. They doing their tests and x-rays and stuff like that. And the doctor says, eventually, after me sitting there for like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, that they was going to admit him to the hospital to seek further medical treatment because his leg was so concerning. So what that looks like for me now, I do my report. I released him to the custody of the ER staff now. He's no longer under arrest. Bam. He goes to the hospital. He stays with the hospital staff, and I leave. And based off upon my report, he gets sent to a detective, and then they essentially put out a warrant for him. And when he get caught again, he get caught for those previous charges. So, so I get a text message about like 9, 10 o'clock that night, and I got off at 6 from one of my coworkers who was working off-duty security at the hospital, and he told me that Buddy escaped the hospital. So here's the kicker: why I named it. I'm gonna title this episode "Oh My Cane." So when they were taking him out of his vehicle and placing him under arrest, he said, "Oh wait, I need my cane. I can't walk without my cane." So I watched the video from the store. He was not walking around Home Depot selecting these items to steal with a cane. Buddy was strolling, Sunday stroll with the buggy and selecting merchandise. So now it's time for him to go to jail. It's like, oh, I need my cane. So we brought the cane. The cane looked a little too flimsy for big fella to be using, but we need the cane. So all in all, come to find out, he does this when he gets caught. He plays the medical system when he gets caught because he know that one, his leg is always going to be bad enough to where it's going to be concerning to doctors, and they going to keep him at the hospital. So that means he never has to go to jail. Because of that reason, he's going to always be kept at the hospital, or he complains of some type of medical issues to where he would have to go to the hospital. Or what officers do, because I could honestly tell you, I was getting aggravated sitting there. I was like, man, look, are y'all keeping this dude, or I'm gonna take him to jail? Like, we need to make a decision soon, because if y'all not gonna keep him, then I don't want to be sitting here the whole time waiting to take him to jail. Like, so I was, getting impatient. Some cops just don't even like dealing with it. So instead of taking him to jail, taking him to the hospital, they'd be like, look, bro, you good. What I learned from one of the loss prevention officers who recognized him is, in another city, he done the same exact thing. So that's his MO, is he played this whole medical issue and get away with it with his charges. So Buddy escaped the hospital. I'm just curious to see if he actually used the cane. I don't think he used the cane. I think that cane was just for show and some sympathy, and like he was an old man who needed the cane. But this brings me to the other aspect of my episode, and it's just talking about how criminals know the system and how they utilize it to their defense, to either one, get out of going to jail, or two, delay the process of them going to jail. What I mean by that, so it's the same thing that suspects use when they get arrested for these crimes, where they use the mental health illness as an excuse. Oh, I can't withstand trial because I'm mentally insane, or I feel like killing myself. So now I need mental evaluation. Then you bring in these experts and stuff like that, who deems them mentally unstable to withstand trial, and now it just delays and delays and delays. Next thing you know, we 4 or 5 years since this original crime happened, and we still don't have no sentencing done. Same thing with, I said it before in other episodes with Officer Middlebrook. Same thing happened with him, and it happened across the country. I'll give you a story back in from 2016 in Vail, Oregon, where this subject by the name of Anthony Montwiller, if I said that right, well, he openly admitted that he faked a mental illness to avoid going to prison. He was looking at 20 years in prison, and he, quote, said he faked a mental illness in order for him not to go to prison after he was accused of killing 2 people. So what they done, they sent him back to the state hospital. Here's the kicker. While he was under the state hospital's care and custody, they was still allowing him some way, somehow. Now, I don't know how this work in Oregon, but they was allowing him some way, somehow to still live within the community. While he was out, he was convicted of several other crimes, such as felony aggravated theft. So Buddy like played the system, and then eventually openly admitted that he played the system. So people always talking about the police. They just look at the police as the justice system. Like once somebody gets arrested, that's the end all be all. But that's only the beginning. Nobody talks about holding these judges and prosecutors and even the jurors accountable. There's always the police accountable. The police accountable. So, give you a little backstory. So, a judge ruled that Anthony Montwiller was not competent to stand trial for an assault and 2 murders that prosecutors say he committed just weeks after he was released from the hospital. Let me see. So here's the story of what happened after his release. So he was released, I think this was in 2016. So in 2017, he kidnapped one of his ex-wives, where he stabbed her to death at a gas station. So a clerk who witnessed the attack, she called the police and then chased him while he was trying to get away in his pickup truck down a highway. He swerved into oncoming lane and collided head-on with an SUV, killing another guy and seriously injuring his wife. So I think that's where you get the 2 murders and the assault of that he was facing the charges from. So what Mr. Montwiller done was he said he heard voices. Man, look, I'm crazy. Well, why are you crazy? I'm hearing voices. To go a little bit further, he said he heard voices of his dead mother and a military friend that he served in the military with that was also deceased. So from there, doctors examined him, and then the doctors deemed that his mental illness was a state of bipolar disorder. So they deemed him insane and placed him into the review board's custody for up to 70 years. The I think is the mental health review board or something like that. That Oregon has. So, despite of all this, Buddy was just out here living life, and I'm looking for his quotes. So like one of them, he says he could open quotes. He said, "Either I go to prison or I could go to the hospital for 6 months, and all I got to do is make myself sound like I'm crazy, and that's the route I took." End quote. Another one he said was, "I basically made that up to make myself sound crazy. I didn't hear anything. I was just saying that's what I was hearing." And they have audio of him actually saying this. And he also said that he's never been depressed. So this just goes to show you how easy it is to play the system. Just like my buddy from Home Depot. He knew what he had to do to play the system. Like my head hurt, I have chest pains, or, I got diarrhea, or whatever the excuse may be, man. But people, I'm trying to tell y'all, it happens day in and day out. So here we go. I always like to do this, put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So put yourself in the family of these two victims that Mr. Montwiller killed. How would you feel if you sit in that courtroom and one, you hearing the judge saying that they are deeming him insane to withstand trial. So that means now your family will not receive justice because now he's all of a sudden insane to withstand trial. But he wasn't insane committing these crimes. You know, nobody's proven that. Because here's my thing. It's one thing to be insane after the case. You should still withstand your trial because you done the crime. But how can these experts prove that at the moment of the crime, when the crime took place, that they were in fact insane? How? I don't know. Maybe I need to go find me a psychiatrist and bring them on this episode and let's see if we can get some answers. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because just like I don't understand their job, same thing like I always say, people don't understand the job of a police officer, which is why we here right now. I think that's what I'm going to do. But how would y'all feel as a loved one to one of these victims being told that? Then for icing on the cake, to be told or to hear that dude said he was faking it the whole time. Like, this wasn't even real. I was faking it. So who gets held accountable then? Because it's I guess, do you call it a misdiagnosis or what? So how do we hold this judge accountable? How do you hold the doctors accountable? Like, who's holding these people accountable? But man, it's wild, bro. And this from 2017, 2016, and I think this has been going on for many years. This particular story, this particular case. But it's like it shows how a system as a whole have loopholes in it, you know. How these systems are failing people, you know, not just the suspects, but the victims of the family. And once somebody know how to beat the system, they're going to use it and abuse it. Just like Home Depot. That's what I'm gonna call them. Big HD, Big Home Depot. But yeah, man. But that's all I have for y'all today. Just a little short, sweet episode. I just felt I had to tell that story of Mr. HD, Mr. Home Depot. But as always, before I let y'all go, I like to leave y'all with some words of encouragement. Today's words of encouragement is, if it doesn't give you peace, profits, or purpose, then don't give it your time, energy, or attention. If it doesn't give you peace, profits, or purpose, then don't give it your time, energy, or attention. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all for this episode of K Sam Speaks Podcast. Make sure y'all go to all social media platforms and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Shout out to the Fit Body Bootcamp family. Yeah, we represent their merch. But that is all, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see y'all next time. Appreciate y'all for tuning in.